Coming up on today's Airborne, changes in store for Operation Migration. Diamond teams with Rostec to build light utility aircraft for Russia. And Boeing introduces the 787-10 Dreamliner. Welcome to Airborne on Aero-TV. I'm Ashley Hale. The FAA is requiring Operation Migration to acquire new airplanes to lead endangered whooping cranes from their summer range to Florida for the winter. And the pilots flying those airplanes will have to have private pilot's licenses. But the FAA is giving the nonprofit until April of next year to accomplish the changeover. The FAA is requiring Operation Migration to make the changes because it pays salaries to its pilots. FARs for ultralight flying do not allow the aircraft to be flown for hire. The paper reports that Operation Migration has received a waiver from the FAA good through April 30th of next year, giving the organization time to raise money from donors for the new planes and for their pilots to get their licenses. Operation Migration founder Joe Duff told the paper he was appreciative of the agency's willingness to work with the nonprofit so that it can continue its mission of guiding the birds to their winter habitat in Florida. But he said, quote, "There was just no space for us in the rules," end quote. Operation Migration is a low and slow proposition. Its aircraft must cruise between 30 and 50 miles per hour so that the birds leading the migration route can keep pace. FAA spokeswoman Elizabeth Corey said that the agency believes that the group does good work and, quote, "We want to help them achieve their mission," end quote. But that still means that the FAA gets its way. Saying that local aviation in Russia is undergoing a severe crisis as there are no state-of-the-art quality light airplanes at affordable prices, Russia Euroworks of Civil Aviation, a Rostec subsidiary, and Austria's Diamond Aircraft Industries have signed an agreement for the joint design and production of a series of light utility aircraft in Russia. The signing took place at the Le Bourget Paris Air Show. Christian Dries, the president of Diamond Aircraft, said, quote, "We anticipate Russia is a prospective market as it has considerable territories giving it great potential in domestic services development," end quote. The companies said the initial plan is to produce small commercial airplanes with a capacity of 19 seats to meet the requirements of local air carriers operating within 400 to 1,000 kilometer flights. The aircraft and engines will initially be entirely assembled in Austria. Later, partial component production will be located in Russia, with the LUA components and diesel engines eventually being manufactured exclusively in Russia. The first Russian light utility airplane is expected to enter service in 2016. The companies say the project will help connect remote communities and will provide sustainable development of regions that are nearly inaccessible by surface transport. Boeing has launched the 787-10 Dreamliner, the third member of the 787 family, at the Paris Air Show. Commitments for 102 airplanes from 5 customers across Europe, Asia, and North America provide a strong foundation to support development and production of the newest Dreamliner. The new 787-10 will fly up to 7,000 nautical miles, covering more than 90% of the world's twin-aisle routes, with seating for 300 to 330 passengers, depending on an airline's configuration choices. The second member of the family, the 787-9, is in final assembly in Everett, Washington, and is set to make its first flight later this year. Design of the 787-10 has already started at Boeing, and international partners will be involved in detailed designs in the months ahead. Final assembly and flight tests of the 787-10 are set to begin in 2017, with first delivery targeted for 2018. Bombs away could be the battle cry the weekend before AirVenture in Oshkosh, as the CAF and EAA are joining forces for an unprecedented and rare gathering of World War II-era aircraft, dubbed Heavy Bombers Weekend in Madison, Wisconsin. The event starts Friday, July 26, 2013, and will feature the world's only B-29 Superfortress, Fifi, the B-17 Aluminum Overcast, and the B-24 Diamond Little. Other aircraft attending include a P-51 Mustang, C-45 Expediter, SNJ-5, PT-26, PT-17 Stearman, and T-6 Texan. Most of the airplane will be available for ground tours and rides. Additional ground tour aircraft include an Air National Guard F-16 and UW Medflight helicopter. Sean Elliott, EAA Vice President of Advocacy and Safety, said, quote, "We are excited to have the EAA and CAF join forces for the first time in an event that should garner international attention. This is a historic opportunity for the public to view, touch, photograph, climb through, and even fly on these aircraft at one location," end quote. The event will be held on the east side of Dane County Regional Airport at Wisconsin Aviation, Friday through Sunday, July 26th through the 28th. Bell Helicopter will be returning to the short-light single-engine helicopter market, with a new product designed to specifications based on the input of a customer advisory council. Bell Helicopter's new 5-seat entry-level aircraft is expected to complete its first flight in 2014, with certification to follow quickly thereafter. Bell Helicopter's new short-light single-engine helicopter will feature a high-visibility, fully flat cabin floor with 5 forward-facing seats. It is designed to meet performance targets recommended by the Customer Advisory Council, including a speed of 125 knots, a range of 360 to 420 nautical miles, and a useful load of 1,500 pounds. Quote, "The SLS class is both extremely competitive and price-sensitive, so we collaborated with customers to incorporate their mission needs in a high-performance, high-value helicopter at a very competitive price," end quote, said John Garrison, President and CEO of Bell Helicopter. Bell Helicopter is no stranger to the short-light single market, having developed its nearly 50 years ago with the introduction of the Bell 206 Jet Ranger. Nearly 7,400 Bell 206 series aircraft have been produced since 1967, with over 4,400 remaining in service today. You're watching Airborne, more in a moment.
Redbird Skyport is a multifaceted aviation laboratory charged with developing innovative solutions to the issues facing the industry.
It started out as a vision for a laboratory where we could objectively measure the systems and the processes that we were developing. Being able to put some objective measures behind the anecdotal evidence that we have about the value of motion and the application of this technology is very, very important, because until we can objectively measure it and play that data back, we can't design training systems that make the best use of it.
For more information about Redbird flight simulations, as well as Redbird's new Skyport, visit www.redbirdflightsimulations.com or www.redbirdskyport.com.
Welcome back. If you'd like to suggest a story for Airborne, Aero-TV, our website, or a podcast, drop us an email to news-by@aero-news.net. Pilots hoping to fly in the anticipated Red Bull Air Race events spent a week at a small airport in Slovenia training to qualify for licenses to participate in the events. The pilots operated out of a hangar temporarily branded with the Red Bull logo at the airport from June 4th through the 11th. The unofficial Red Bull Air Race website, Smoke On, reports that 25 pilots were working toward their Red Bull Air Race Super License. The certificate is required to prove that they are competent and safe to fly around the inflatable pylons at high speeds and low altitudes. The website reports that a video team from Red Bull GmbH was on hand to film the training. The site reported in 2012 that Red Bull Air Race GmbH said in a statement that it planned to resume racing on a fixed calendar season in 2014 after skipping 2013. Bell Helicopter announced updates to the Bell 525 Relentless program Monday at the 2013 Paris Air Show. The updated technical specifications and design features reveal improved speed, range, and payload capabilities, as well as a higher maximum gross weight and optimized flight performance. The Bell 525's enhanced specifications include a flight cruise speed at max continuous power and max gross weight of 155 plus knots, a range of 500 plus nautical miles, and a useful load of 7,400 plus pounds. The maximum gross weight for the Relentless is 19,300 plus pounds. The Bell 525 Relentless can also perform Cat A takeoffs and landings to and from a helipad at maximum gross weight on a hot day. Bell Helicopter's updated design features, as well as sponsors, were added to the aft fuselage for retractable wheeled landing gear and internally stowed flotation devices. With the input of pilots, the flight deck arrangement was slightly adjusted to further improve situational awareness. Bell said the Relentless is progressing towards its first flight in 2014, already having achieved or on target to reach several major milestones in 2013. Bell Helicopter will begin assembling the first Bell 525 Relentless at the recently completed 249,000 square foot facility in Amarillo, Texas, later this month. The G650 made a grand entrance into the Paris Air Show at Le Bourget this week. The Gulfstream G650 demonstrator aircraft arrived in Paris with 3 new city pair records: Savannah to Paris, Nice, France to Sao Paulo, and Las Vegas to Madrid, Spain. The records are pending confirmation by the National Aeronautic Association. The most significant record was a 3,899 nautical mile sprint between Savannah and Paris that broke a record held for 25 years by the Gulfstream G4. The G650, with 3 crew members and 5 passengers on board, accomplished the flight from Savannah Hilton Head International Airport to Paris Le Bourget in 7 hours and 12 minutes, shaving more than an hour off the G4's time of 8 hours and 16 minutes. The aircraft flew at an average speed of 0.90 Mach. The G650 demonstrator, which entered service in January 2013, has visited 75 cities and 27 countries as of May 31st. It has flown 334 hours, covering more than 142,900 nautical miles. Can there be any doubt about what's been on Jim Campbell's mind recently? Here's ANN's editor-in-chief to share his thoughts on the FAA's recent overreaching and the aviation community's reaction to it all. Here's this week's Barnstorming Commentary.
Thanks, Ashley, and hi, folks. And, well, we're going to keep beating the same horse we've been beating for the last couple of weeks because, well, frankly, it's important. But something interesting has happened as a result of the FAA's insistence on being paid again and again for the job that they were supposed to do in the first place. The recent revelations that they were trying to shake down EAA for nearly $500,000 and had already shaken down Lakeland for over $250,000 and had their hands out to numerous other events and plans to do so even more so in the future. Well, that really got a lot of people riled up. And an interesting thing has occurred. The FAA has done what the various alphabet associations have been failing to do for a number of years. They've united a great deal of the general aviation public in a common cause. People are so upset, people are so outraged, people are so totally disapproving of what the FAA has done that, well, The community is speaking out, and we haven't seen that for a long, long time. As we've long opined, the community has been silent because the associations keep dictating what they think they need rather than listening to the community. And as a result, the community has been in decline. It doesn't speak up, it doesn't make itself known, and it frankly doesn't think that anybody's listening. Well, this time, no matter what, the community is speaking up, and I can assure you folks, our inside sources at the FAA tell us that they are listening. It's obvious that the FAA is on the hot seat, but it's also obvious that they're backed into a corner and they're trying to push back as well. They pushed too hard, they pushed too late, they did something that was just really foolish, and the fact of the matter is there's a very good reason to believe that what they have been trying to do is not within the law. And over a period of time, various elected officials are going to call them on the carpet and try to find out what justification the FAA has for not only double dipping, but triple dipping. Keep in mind, the FAA is paid by our basic general taxes. It's also paid again by fuel taxes. Now they want a third try at the well. Doesn't work. The FAA has overstepped, it has outraged the public, and I'll be darned if something good isn't coming out of this, and the fact that it is building a sense of resentment within the community and a determination to do something about it. Fair warning to the FAA. We really appreciate the controllers, the rank and file, the folks who are working their heart and soul to make aviation safer. But for the leadership of FAA that might be attending Oshkosh, you got some splaining to do. We look forward to seeing what you have to say for yourself, especially a couple of months after this whole thing has transpired and having taken the flack for this for another 2 months. We'll see. For the Aero-News Network, Airborne, and Aero-TV, I'm Jim Campbell.
Have officials at Google gone completely loony? The internet giant has undertaken a project that could one day provide internet connectivity to people living in very remote areas of the world by relaying signals via balloons flying at an altitude of about 60,000 feet. Even Google tacitly admits that it is a far-fetched idea through the name of the program, Project Loon. But according to Wired magazine, when representatives from the internet giant showed up at a remote home in New Zealand not long ago and asked if they could put a red spear on top of the home of Hayden and Anna McKenzie, the couple agreed. The program was under such a veil of secrecy that the couple was not told until the day after its installation that it would give them internet service relayed by a high-flying balloon. The project was officially announced at a news conference in New Zealand on Friday. On Google's official blog, the company says that they think it might be possible to operate a global constellation of balloons flying in the stratosphere that will relay internet service to the 2 out of every 3 people on Earth for whom a fast, affordable internet connection is still out of reach. Project Loon is initially being tested in New Zealand. Some 50 people in the Canterbury area of that country have been selected to test the service, and Google has launched 30 balloons as part of the test program. Well, that's our program for June 21st. Remember, you can get comprehensive, real-time, 24/7 coverage of the latest aviation and aerospace stories at Aero-News.net. And please remember, Airborne is streamed twice weekly and is always online. Join us again next Tuesday for another edition of Airborne. I'm Ashley Hale. Thanks for watching.